Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the MCU. This time, we're taking a look at Iron Man 2, where Tony has learned to be such a humble fellow, right, guys?
I mean, he had his first movie, so I would assume he'd get that good character development.
Yeah, you'd think.
And
Alright.
okay, this film released in 2010 and was once again directed by Jon Favreau and was apparently written by because I refuse to believe this film is a script by Justin Theroux, aka a co-writer of Tropic Thunder.
Huh, so you'd think we'd be in very good hands. However, folks, for as great as the MCU is, there are constant reminders that it's not always the best planned out. You get stuff like Nick Fury having no reason to trust another person, and then we see the reason for that. You have stuff like 4 2. And then you have Iron Man 2. Believe it or not, this, despite rating highly with critics for some reason, it got 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. Despite that, though, people did not really like this movie a lot. They saw it as a glorified thriller for stuff to come at best. Mind you, that's at best. And at worst, it was a terrible drama-filled slog fest. But hey, you don't have to take our words for it. Why don't we go ahead and watch it?
Okay, there is quite a bit of black screen before the Paramount logo starts, at least on my copy. But really, we should be fine. Just start at 0.
All right.
Let's
Take us
do
away,
it.
T-Roy.
All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
You know, again, the MCU has given us a lot of good things, yet a lot of bad things too.
Oh,
Okay.
we start already. Like,
Yo, hey, Tony.
And we start
basically
off
with
with
a
audio of a much better movie.
yeah.
You
Also,
know,
this technically wasn't even a bomb. 170 $200 million as a budget and did 623.9 million, like triple of the budget.
oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, okay, while people did not like this film, it would be unfair to say that, you know, this nearly killed it. Although I'll admit, if they had continued movies of this quality, that would have killed the MCU.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
I don't know,
and
it's
also-
working pretty well for Disney. Oh, wait,
Oh,
this
and-
is Disney.
Oh, and speaking of first, this was the first film Kevin Feige produced all by himself.
oh boy, what a start.
And then let's start by confusing the shit out of the comic book fans. You see, the person who is dying here, I think he's the one. Yeah, is Anton Vanko, aka Crimson Dynamo. If you know about the comics, problem is he's dying now without even becoming Crimson Dynamo. So glorified, pointless cameo.
Also,
And guess
that's
what? His son becomes Whiplash instead,
Also-
which should be a completely different character altogether.
also that's where Amazing Spider-Man 2 got that dumb idea to kill off Norman Osborn before he did anything.
Like, what are you doing?
I'm
Yeah.
glad you told me that to you, because I would have thought that was just some random dude otherwise.
Okay,
You know
okay.
what's the weirdest part about it? I haven't still played it. I have the copy, but I still play it. But in the Iron Man 2 video game, you actually get to fight Crimson Dynamo. So I'm really curious to see what bullshit we pulled there.
How was the story for the game?
I haven't played it yet, but I can already tell if it's the same quality as the first Iron Man game and the Incredible Hulk. I'm not optimistic.
Well, with any luck, maybe it's the same quality as the Captain America
But-
video game.
God, believes it.
Hey Joe, you mentioned that not a lot of people like this movie.
Yeah.
Do you want to know who the biggest hater of this movie was?
Who?
Mickey Rourke.
Really?
Yeah, he has the look that he doesn't want to be on set.
Although, isn't that a look he constantly has?
Although actually, he wanted his character Ivan Vanko.
Oh, wow,
to,
that was, kind of an awkward scream there, dude.
He wanted to play Ivan Vanko, the character he plays in this movie, as a complete human being, as he puts it. But Marvel, they don't like good villains, and so they cut all the sympathetic scenes out.
Yeah.
He was happy with it, and he decided to spew vitriol at Marvel itself, Jon Favreau, the director, and all the other actors in every interview he's given.
As much as normally I don't agree with that kind of attitude, I can see why he'd be pissed. It's Venom
Also,
all
for
over
some reason,
again.
this guy had a blueprint of Tony's arc reactor. What?
Yeah, he can somehow make one.
Well, okay, to be honest, for that one, it's a common thing. My question is, how did he got the blueprint in the first place?
Apparently he got it from his dad.
Keep in mind, there are a couple of Iron Man classic villains, like Crimson Diamond, for example, but for example, Titanium Man, who are essentially bootleg Soviet copies of him, only worse, because, get it, Soviets don't have technology.
Okay. So this is apparently based off of Stark's arc reactor system, which apparently Ivan's father somehow got a hold of and gave to him.
Also, yeah, he has a Kakatua bird pet, because...
Cockatoos. They're kind of one of those invasive species types. Over in certain regions.
Oh, I think I found out the reason why it feels like this film has no script.
Why?
Apparently, well, Jon Favreau said he was having a lot of issues with the Marvel higher-ups because remember this was the time when
Perlmutter was pushing, yeah, I can imagine that.
Oh boy.
And it got to the point where he had to rewrite the script as the film was still going, as the shooting was still going on.
Okay, folks, as I said, the MCU has brought us a lot of good, but a lot of bad. If there's ever a big sign of the bad it's brought, it's how it's made the higher-ups a bit more greedy towards it, and it tends to dictate how they run things, not just in the MCU itself, but also stuff based off of Marvel products, the comics, and of course, the same with stuff like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, video games.
But hey, we got AC/DC.
Yep, because the first one had it, so let's have another one. Also, aside from the licensing waves, who did the score?
John Debney.
Okay.
There was a scene. Okay, this particular scene was different in the trailer. It had him just basically talking with Pepper, and then he jumps out the plane.
Yeah.
You know what's...
Here he just jumps out the plane.
You know what's funny is that around this time, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was being made. And at that time, they made
the vanilla one, Joe. Remember, 2010 was the year of the vanilla one.
I said Ultimate was being made at the time. It was 2010 where the vanilla version was released.
Well, yeah, no, remember, Joe, Ultimate was essentially built very quickly after the release of Vanilla 3.
I know, but I think it was being built and made around this time.
2011, it was the year of the tsunami.
No, Tio. It got released in 2011, but I think they were working on it as early as around 2010.
No, it's a long story and reserved for the video game. But it also kind of makes sense instead even for Vanilla, because for the video game, they couldn't get, Robert Downey Jr. to reprise the role, so they got to his, I think it's official cartoon voice actor, Eric Loomis, who then started voicing Tony also in the Marvel vs. Capcom games.
And he made quite the Robert Downey Jr. sound alike.
Yeah, I honestly prefer him as a voice actor. Again, spoilers and foreshadowing, but I played the first Iron Man game and Robert Downey Jr. sounds terrible in those. But I blame bad direction.
Yeah.
Also just the general difference between an actor and a voice actor.
Yeah.
Stark Expo. Although, hopefully it's gotten better.
Superhero multi-billionaire, but now uses his superhero status to present an event like this. You know what is starting to remind me?
Wow.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Maybe it's because of all the other superheroes out there.
Try not to brag or anything.
Please.
Well, remember, guys, he had a whole first movie to not be a jerk anymore.
It's kind of funny because this really seems like one of the E3 conference presentation, but they started doing this.
Phoenix.
Hold on, but we started making this kind of presentation only a couple of years after the release of this movie. So I wonder.
Also, Dwibs, it's funny you mentioned him not mentioning Phoenix, because now that it's topical, recently, Kevin Feige showed a tweet that had a deleted scene from the post-credits scene of Iron Man. You remember how Nick Fury originally talks about, oh, there's all these other heroes out there? Well,
Yeah.
believe it or not, in the deleted scene that Kevin Feige has recently revealed, Nick Fury mentions people getting bitten by bugs, and also mutants. Funny time for him to reveal that deleted scene.
I guess they really wanted to try and incorporate everything with the different companies, each helming, their own things.
How fitting though that Kevin Feige has just recently released a tweet of such. Shows that
it's a safe place.
I guess it shows that we're gonna get those mutants sooner or later.
But yeah, going back to what you were saying, Tio, I mean, Tony's a businessman. The people at E3 are business people,
Yeah.
It could...
Oh, hey, Howard Stark!
Howard Stark. Basically, Tony's father.
Believe it or not, more often than not, he's actually
alive
alive in the comics
think of
version,
him
but not
as
here.
Walt Disney if he wanted instead to profit about war.
But he was a nice guy, deep
Totally.
down. In the comics, he's actually alive, but not in this version.
Is the only time we, actually meet him properly, technically, in Endgame?
He's
Not
a
quite.
prominent character in the Agent Carter series.
Not only
because, of
that-
course, it's set in...
I mean, in terms of the MCU movies, like...
We meet him in Captain America First Avenger.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
so now we have 55 bajillion subplots in this movie.
Yeah.
Stark's daddy issues, Vanko,
Blood toxicity.
blood toxicity, and believe it or not, there's going to be more.
Jesus.
What is this, alias?
No, Tio. I think a better question is, what is it with sequels always having the multiple plots like this and Alvin and the Chipmunks the Squeakquel?
So, what the hell is this first-person camera?
It's to showcase the life and times of Tony Stark. Also, kids wearing merchandise, literally.
Merchandising.
Hey,
by the way,
Stan.
hi Peter Parker. Larry King, eh?
Also, what did you say about Peter Parker?
I think a bit then was retconned to that one of the kids being Peter Parker.
Huh.
Don't remember that.
Oh hi, hey, Kate Mara, hey.
Oh boy, Kate Mara. I have bad news. This is her best superhero movie. Think about that. I mean,
That's sad.
don't get me wrong, it's an MCU movie, but people generally consider this one of the worst, if not the absolute bottom, of the MCU. And, spoiler soaks, her character won't be returning. That's not to say her character lives or dies,
She's not
it's
gonna
just
become the
she's
new
not
Madame
recurring.
Mask, if that's what you're wondering.
Which is weird because it seems like they were trying to set her up to be something like that. But I digress.
Also, Jova, I'm only going to disagree with you because I couldn't sit through For the Dark World in one sitting.
Wow.
I couldn't.
I don't blame
Well,
you.
Neither could
So,
Dwibs.
Well then, game on for
now-
when we commentate on it.
Okay, so now Tony is trying to defend his right to hold on to the Iron Man suit because the government wants it.
Of course.
The government want everything, don't they?
This is admittedly
But
one
don't you
of the...
see, we need it as a weapon.
This is admittedly one of the tough things when you reveal your secret identity. It allows you to get court summoned quite easily.
Not to mention, it's also kind of funny in hindsight. In the Incredible Hulk 2008 video game, we see that the military is perfectly okay in using Hulkbuster's prototypes. So Stark Industries in that video game actually provides Stark technology for the armors figures.
That's the thing, though.
Oh,
It's like
boy.
we want to use it as a weapon. Tony's a weapons manufacturer.
Oh
But
boy,
to see
Justin
he
Hammer.
doesn't want to be that anymore.
Boy,
Hey, Justin Hammer is sure looking younger than he usually does, considering how he's an old man in most canon, but I digress.
Yeah,
Justin
let's-
Hammer is played by Sam Rockwell in this movie, and apparently the guy who, I think the comics guy who created this character, didn't like this movie either.
Gee, I can't imagine why. Justin
Did
Hammer
anyone like this movie?
Justin
No.
Hammer in this movie is portrayed as a young, upcoming rival who's kind of a buffoon when you get down to it. Pretty much nothing like Justin Hammer from the original comics, who was rather old but could be quite cunning.
Yeah.
He was also a guy who worked a lot with the Mandarin, but oh, we're not even getting to
We're
that.
not at the Mandarin
We're not getting
yet,
to that can of worms.
I'll reserve my rant for when we get to that.
Even when he tries to be smug, I just feel sorry for this doofus.
You see, Mr. Stark, we live in a society. Oh wait, wrong superhero movie.
Even that applause doesn't ring much, and I can't blame
Please
them.
clap.
Hey, Rhodey! It's good to see
yeah,
Terrence Howard
Rhodey.
back after all these years!
Oh,
Okay.
no. Okay,
May I please?
Yeah, Jova, you probably are the best person to talk about this. Go
Okay, folks, I'm one of the people who, yes, I like Don Cheadle better than Terrence Howard. However, the way Terrence Howard got replaced is another problem for this movie. See, Ike Perlmutter, resident asshole, mind you, he's one of those old-fashioned racist guys. He's the reason we have Marvels and humans. He is partially the reason that stuff based off of Marvel stuff sort of, at the time, was, I kid you not, trying to take away rank from stuff like X-Men, Fantastic Four. Basically, Shuri, it's the art of devaluing. If someone happens to have a property that you own in another medium but don't have in your medium that you're focusing on, you can per se devalue it, make it worse and weaker. For instance, at the time, stuff like Fantastic Four and X-Men, yeah, they were getting removed from covers of event comics that they were in or whatnot. Now, why do I bring all this up? Ike Perlmutter, in his infinite wisdom, didn't like Terrence Howard on this James Rhodey, so he replaced Don Cheadle for the reason of, I quote, nobody would notice the difference.
Oh.
It's not even for the acting or anything. No, it's just that stupidly simple.
And you know, it's a shame because I really like Don Cheadle.
That's like textbook racism.
Oh yeah.
My God.
I thought that the story for years was Terrence Howard asked for too much money.
Well, that
no, honestly, it doesn't see that.
Let me put it like this, Twibs. The main reason was always Ike Perlmutter. Sir.
Also, this led to a lot of, I don't know if you guys know, but this led to a lot of jokes when now War Machine likes Cheetos because of similar names.
Let me put it like this, Twibs. The fact that War Machine changed actors was a full-on meme. Like, it was bad enough with Bruce Banner, but with him, yeah. Anyway.
Oh god, bad CGI.
Okay, so basically, the government's point is that all countries around the world are making Iron Man suits of their own.
Did you just reference RoboCop?
Yes, I do believe they did.
Tony is showing that that these countries are just not very good at it.
And look at that! Justin Hammer was part of the ploy. Huh.
Ow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there you go, guys. Justin Hammer just lost all credibility in this movie from now on, pretty much.
So freaking what? He's gonna be facing backwards as forwards for the rest of his life.
Tony?
Give it 2 years, Tony. You will probably change your mind.
Well, 2 years, then 5 years.
Oh wow, we just dropped an F-bomb. Is this PG-13, by the way? Forgot.
Yeah, it's PG-13.
Yeah, around here, yeah.
You know, Tony, it's probably not a good time to tell you that the way you're acting is kind of like Trump.
You're kind of an ass, Tony.
Not just that, he's just thinking... I think the one good thing to take from this is that, despite how Tony talks, America is not the entire world. There are other places, and there are consequences for that.
But Tio, remember those newspapers showing that he somehow made the Far East and West all good? Remember, because of those acts he did in the first movie, I guess?
I will say this also. For being a modern version of the character, design-wise, Whiplash makes sense and is cool enough. I just only wish the character was better.
Yeah, like, okay, I can definitely see where Mickey Rourke is coming from.
If you read the comics or watched the Iron Man cartoon, you will know that Whiplash classic design is goofy, very goofy. So they kind of need it. Was one of the characters they needed.
Oh,
and also, all the layout in YouTube.
Oh, I miss you, layout.
It's a bit.
Oh, by the way, there's another subplot about Tony's machines acting up.
Yes, Liz?
I was just going to say, it's a bit weird though. Vanko can make all the technology, any piece of technology he wants with the arc reactor power, and he makes whips.
Because
plasma weapon whips, they probably is the most effective in that kind of way.
Oh, goody. Subplot number 7.
Apparently, his arc reactor burns out chips.
Apparently, it's burning out a lot quicker than it did in the first movie.
Why? I don't know.
The short answer, drama. The long answer, let's watch the movie.
Pointless drama.
Yeah.
Okay, we get it. No need to dumb it down, okay?
Lives, we kind of need a shot for the fans of Robert. Come on.
Not only did they keep dumbing it down verbally, I think we could tell he's dying because of the black veins around his
Some people will find it hard.
Well, to be fair, Dibs, the black veins could just mean that he's on some very bad drugs. We had to absolutely pound it into your heads that he's dying.
He's a businessman. Of course he's done some bad drugs.
Also, look at that! Yay! Concession games, all in this hologram stuff, which will later kind of become one of the cornerstones of the MCU, if not technology movies in general.
Well, in itself is kind of taken from Minority Report, so it's nothing new.
It worked.
It's just taken to a different extreme.
Also, okay, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to do it like the first movie, where a lot of the dialogue was improvised. Except here it feels like they're doing.
Really, an Obama-style poster of Iron Man? Seriously?
Here it feels like all the dialogue was improvised. It's just like.
It feels pointless fluff, Dibs. It feels like the characters are saying a lot of pointless things, and I shouldn't not listen to any of that.
Again, folks, wait. I think it all becomes apparent when you see the real reason this movie is a thing.
Oh my god. Get
Iron
it,
Man!
on a pedestal! Fucking...
Iron Man 2, everyone! Because you came to watch everything talk. Like
I will say this, like I said in our Incredible Hulk. Can you feel the excitement of the MCU?
I mean, God, look.
There's barely any action in this movie.
I mean, Tony can be a good snarker and all, but by God...
Alright, another subplot. This is, I think, a small hint. It will become more apparent in Iron Man 3 about one of the more famous things with Tony Stark, alcoholic problems.
Oh, by the way, he's just made a chairman of Stark Enterprises. Yeah, I'll admit, I never really dig these instances of the whole hero gives someone else lead of their company for reasons or whatnot. Especially considering how this one tends to be very on and off, considering how later movies kind of seem to completely disregard him ever giving her that thing. And it's hard to tell if he's being serious about it. And if he's not being serious about it, then what the hell, dude?
One of the more famous stories of Iron Man is called The Demon in the Bottle. It deals with Tony's, alcoholism. It's relatively mature the way it treats itself, and has a nice conclusion to it. So pretty much every adaptation of that is garbage. Even the cartoon couldn't handle that.
Wait, the cartoon tackled that? I completely forgot.
Yeah,
the guy dealing with him looks like Kylo Ren a little bit.
Not enough edgy leaves.
I think he looks like a fusion between Kylo Ren and Agent Fitz from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh, that'll be something interesting to tackle.
Also, a passport. Also, I made, from what I've seen on my research, Jova, to answer the question that I was posing being back on about Major Talbot being president of S.H.I.E.L.D., apparently it's part of a loophole abuse of Marvel. Apparently Universal, for the whole Hulk thing, maintains the right thing only for the movies. For the TV series, Marvel can sort of abuse that, hence why we're also getting the She-Hulk TV series.
Interesting. Live action or animated, I guess?
Well, for live action.
Oh, hey, Scarlet. So, Scarlet, you doing better after your last superhero movie?
We have Scarlett Johansson here playing,
someone not important.
Natalia Rushman.
Yeah, Natalie Rushman.
I'm sorry. I couldn't understand for that ever so thick Russian accent you totally have.
Does she just refuse to do accents? She's like... Whatever,
That was just me practicing for when I play Ka.
for the 3-4 lines that I have in total.
And also that song I get to sing during the credits, too.
Topical.
Okay, Tony, I know I said you were acting like Donald Trump, but let's not go all the way.
Please. Also, I just noticed I don't know if it was intentional for the movies, but Happy over the years gains a lot of weight.
Huh, yeah.
Google, Ogle,
Clicksters, dweebs.
Oh, did we mention this film's not funny?
Ah, cheesecake. Oh, so nice. Oh, she modeled in Tokyo. It's like we're setting up for that disappointing live-action adaptation.
Oh.
And that's what she does to anything who has anything bad to say about Ghost in the Shell.
God, I wish that were me, not JPG.
Ouch.
So, Jon Favreau directed himself to have his ass kicked.
I honestly don't blame him. I mean, if Tarantino can have a woman pour down champagne with her leg into his mouth, Jon Favreau can have this scene.
Yeah.
So, Uma
Well,
Thurman
to be
is...
fair, that was more Rodriguez directed, but I'm pretty sure it was Tarantino's request.
Mm-hmm. What was up with that going James Bond for a bit there?
Monaco. Ho ho ho. Visit Monaco. No, seriously, this is like those shoots in the commercial shoot in Cars 2, where they just involve, ask you to visit the place.
Jesus Christ, what is it with sequels pretty much being paid vacations?
I think Cars 2 also was released around this time.
Oh yeah, 2010.
And Shug.
So again, Scarlet, you doing better after your last superhero movie?
Yeah, her last superhero movie, in case you don't know, was The Spirits.
Ooh.
Where she was also alongside Samuel Jackson, of all people.
Okay, I'm not saying this is worse than The Spirits, but...
Oh god.
No,
I mean...
Frank Miller takes bad qualities to a whole new level, Dweebs.
Okay, it depends. I mean, I will say that I do find The Spirit more memorable than this movie. That's not saying it's good, though.
Oh my god, shut up already!
Yeah, that's another... God, I can't believe I'm gonna say it.
The banter between Tony and Pepper in this movie is unbearable.
Oh, but hey, if you don't like that banter, how about banter between Tony and Justin Hammer? Jesus Christ. It's like different flavors of banter. Heck, I'm gonna say this. I don't think even The Spirit bantered as much as this. And that was written by Frank Miller.
I totally get it. You want to break the convention of movie traditional standards of having character saying their line and then the other waiting before talking back. You know, but you're not creating a good effect for this riposte. It's just confusing.
And we're only
And again, it gives the
28
impression
minutes
that you don't want
in.
to tell anything meaningful.
That's
Also,
right.
I'm sure those sunglasses are not important at all.
Ah, that's cute. Justin Hammer's trying to look cute with the guy who he tried to get blacklisted at the Senate hearing. Like, what is he expecting? That Tony would all of a sudden just welcome him with open arms after that stunt?
Also, actual stock footage of the race, I think. Background.
So, Justin Hammer wants to present something at Tony's Expo. Oh, I guess he is forgiving enough to let him have a slot. Blood toxicity, 53%.
Oh, jeez.
Don't suck your own blood. You'll make it worse.
Actually, no, Dweebs. It's very helpful in emergencies. The saliva can actually act as an emergency coagulant.
Oh no. So, for some reason, Tony decides to join the races.
Yeah, sure.
He can do that because
Okay. Seriously, how did...
he's not even a registered driver. How's he even being allowed to do this?
I mean,
Money,
I
I'm
get
guessing.
it that being piloting the Iron Man suit means he's used to high velocity and, adrenaline stuff situation, but he's pretty sure it's a bit different than piloting an F1 car.
I guess he wants to be self-destructive because... I don't know. Shiroi, any ideas?
Also,
Literally none.
why the Italian driver is called Gravois, a French name?
Maybe he's Italian French.
Director John, get your stereotypes right. Call it spaghetti or something. I mean,
Monaco's near
pizza
France.
pasta is a terrible name for a Punch-Out character, but at least I know it's supposed to be Italian.
I have no idea why the sequence is happening. I don't care for the sequence
We need a
at all.
commercial for F1. Was F1 really that desperate that they wanted to have a commercial for them with Paramount?
It's the most popular
deal.
form of racing in the world.
And folks, I think you're starting to see one of the, quite possibly the biggest problem with this movie. It's a glorified commercial, even more than an Adam Sandler movie. Yes, that's
The
right, I
cars
went
are
there.
louder than the music.
Yes, that's right, folks, I went there. This movie, in and of itself, is more of a commercial than an Adam Sandler movie, and those are infamous for their product placement. It's not just the product placement, though, as you'll come to see, but this movie likes to advertise other stuff, other than, the actual plot. I'm so invested in this racing scene because...
Now this is pod racing.
Yeah, it's also amazing. It's also amazing how Whiplash knew Tony was going to be here and how he knew he'd be a race.
Okay, here we go. Time for the proper villain introduction.
Huh, only 31 minutes in, how interesting.
Johnny.
And then his skin burned from the contact with that.
Yeah, he should have several bird degrees. No, not the Ferrari!
Oh! Wait, I think he'll make it. Or maybe not. No,
Not
wait!
happening.
Well, don't worry, it was CGI.
Oh, that's an interesting briefcase.
It's serious. Again, it's taken. Well, I think it was taken from the issues, but the cartoon is infamous with the opening for having Iron Man dropping the suitcase.
You mean that commercial? Yeah, that commercial.
Well, no, the cartoon intro drove that.
Oh, yeah, that too.
But I don't remember if it was taken from one of the comic book issues. Whoa, slow-mo.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
This is one of the only 2 major action set pieces in the movie.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, because this film is so focused on advertising and trying to be funny and everything else, this action movie barely has any action.
I wouldn't even say it's so much that it focuses on trying to be funny. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are definitely some cringy scenes here and there, but even the comedy seems subdued compared to all the bits of drama that
sure,
come.
why not?
Aren't the race stewards warning them of this?
Apparently
there
not.
should be the safety. At this point, there should be the safety car on stage.
But no, the race is still going, apparently.
Also, now we're doing it.
Bit late now,
Monaco's
guys.
finest, everyone? Not the best
You know,
advertisement.
dude, if you want to kill Tony, you should have probably struck that part. Oh.
Tony, what are you doing? That's right, go bonk a guy on the head without your armor. And you nearly castrated you there.
Oh.
Yeah, again, Iron Man, the great hero. I mean, I get what they're trying to do. You know, he's got blood toxicity and he's not thinking straight.
Oh no.
Speaking
Not
of...
just that. Well, it's not just that. Whiplash, as much as I'm okay with this new design, even for the comic, Whiplash is one of the minor villains of Iron Man. Like, having Tony struggling this much with this guy is kind of pathetic.
I mean, okay, I guess you could argue for the MCU
Also
they
Martini.
wanted to make Whiplash a more serious threat, but I'm sorry, at the end of the day, he has 2 whips. That's not exactly
Energy
the
whips.
most...
That's cool, but you know, having him being backed up by someone else also.
And he's dead.
Oh,
You would think that
Also,
would
Pepper,
kill him.
what are you doing? Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Tony, listen.
I get earplugs, but I'm already wearing headphones.
Ah, Gwyneth Paltrow. She's really trying, but my god, the direction in this movie.
Okay, so it is
It's almost like home video in this
to live
instance.
again. Yeah, because that works so
Maybe not that
well
bad, but
the-
still.
Oh,
because it- Yeah, try it a 3rd time because it worked so well the last 2.
Stop talking!
Four, okay, yeah. An action scene that we're supposed to take seriously and also find funny.
I'm sorry. What is stopping him from just cutting down the middle of the car from the
Alright, here
get-go?
we go.
Yay! Something that looks cool in this movie!
I think this is the Mark 5 armor, I forgot. It's not a Mark 3, definitely.
Oh, what, now you don't want to give a quip?
Well, at least the armor is relatively resistant to the plasma. Also, Tony should have probably started flying, an attack from high, but I guess.
So, I just have a question here that kind of snaps the logic of this fight. How strong is Ivan? Like, I mean, I get that he has the whiplashes, but I don't recall him getting super strength that could whip around an armor that's as heavy as Tony's armor.
I think the structure, the metal structure, the exoskeleton around his arm is to supplement that.
It's kind of really hard to tell,
And
though.
there we go.
Especially considering how crude it
Scene's
is, and
over.
fight over.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, the fights, in addition to being very few and far between, are also very anticlimactic.
Oh no, somebody actually got close to making something. You lose! Ah ha ha! Even though you kicked my butt, you lose! Ah ha ha ha! How do I win again? Anything? Whatever, I'll just go ahead and crush this. But Justin Hammer
this
is
makes
getting
Justin aroused
an
for some
idea.
Okay, Justin, Mickey Rourke is a very good-looking guy. You don't know if he speaks English or you're speaking French.
Huh.
Well, remember Monaco has like 3 official languages.
Rorik. I can't believe I'm saying this. This is not the most awkward scene with you in a film.
Yeah.
I'd say the most awkward scene was when you had a tiger in a stadium. Those were some crazy days, weren't they? You, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Dennis Rodman, and Kate. You know what? Why aren't we watching that movie instead? Jesus Christ.
Tony, you don't have to lecture the guy on how to build a proper reactor.
If anything, that's just gonna give him ideas. Hey, yeah, that's a good point. You're our villain, so let's go over your motivation.
Not just that, yeah, I could have sold to the black market. I'm sure the Latvian nation will probably pay you good for that. Oh, wait, you don't exist. Probably yet.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, let's just say that this starts a trend that you will see to this day in the MCU. Stark Industries is ruining practically half of the world. No joke. In this continuity, Stark Industries is responsible for almost all the major villains set up. The only real one that genuinely doesn't was affected by Stark Industries is essentially Thanos.
And Killmonger, I think.
And Loki, yeah, I guess, but those are supernatural, more like.
What about
Well, in my
Killmonger?
Well, okay, I suppose so.
Well, in my opinion, and from what I can tell, the opinion of a few others, unfortunately, this kind of starts a trend that can get really repetitive depending on your point of view. That all villains connected to Tony Stark in some way that are human, by the way, are just people that got miffed by Tony or a Stark at some point.
I know exactly how you feel. It's like when the New 52 tried to make every Batman villain come from either a confrontation with Batman or because they used to be an employee at Wayne Foundation.
On that, I can partially understand that because when it comes to non-human enemies, Iron Man is only one. And I'm not even sure how something like Fin Fang Foom could be portrayed in a proper Hollywood movie. Because it looks very goofy.
I'm honestly okay with the whole thing just because, you know, Tony's job. He's gonna piss off a lot of people.
That's all fine and well and dandy. Let's just say, even though we do get some good villains out of it,
there are also stuff of movie that have practically nothing to do with Iron Man that will turn out have, the villain being someone who got pissed off by Stark Enterprises.
And not only that, sure, just to let you know, sometimes they get incredibly petty to the point where you wonder, did we really need to make this have to do with the Stark Industries? Oh, right, he's keeping secrets from Pepper.
Alright then, keep your secrets.
Also, the kind of villain you just described to you, one of my favorites is actually of that caliber.
Oh, which one?
In terms of Tony, anyway.
Which one?
Fin Fang Foom?
No, Mysterio.
Oh!
I actually really liked him.
So you gotta run this thing far from home, eh?
Yes, I did.
How about that ending?
Great movie. Fucking Disney.
Oh, God. Yes, folks, as of the time of this recording, Spider-Man, after several years were spent getting him into the MCU, is now being evicted from the MCU.
To be fair, this is mostly Disney's fault. For once, I'm willing to understand where Sony came from.
The problem is that even though Sony are the ones probably in the right, doesn't mean they're gonna make a good live-action Spidey film.
Yeah, but again, that's for the future for us to see. For the moment, there's a shitty movie with someone help even.
Yeah.
But yeah, to clarify, the third Spider-Man movie is still happening as of now.
My only problem is that ending was such a cliffhanger, and now we probably won't get to see the proper end to
plastic explosive.
I didn't expect the ending to be as full on as it was. So, oh god.
Yeah.
Did you drop the soap?
Judging by his face, probably.
He's just about the right size, the right shirt number. Hey,
Ding, ding, ding.
hey, fake body decoy, say what?
Boop.
Hey, this could make for a pretty good, interesting breakout film. Oh wait, that's right, this is an Iron Man movie.
We're in a different movie now.
Guards, why is the prisoner sleeping on the floor?
Oh.
Hey, it's so nice that our
Scroll his shoulder.
it's nice to see that our honorable villain talks about delivering justice and all, yet himself is nothing but a petty killer. Something's missing here. Wait a minute. Villain whose father dies wants revenge for it. Hey, Black Panther did this a lot better. Here's the thing. Killmonger had a lot, and I mean a lot of sympathy going for him.
Oh god, this scene.
Oh.
Okay, folks, you're about to see one of the low points of the movie.
Implying we weren't there already, but this is where it gets even lower. Why are you just like Miles Edgeworth?
Yeah, it turns
He
out...
reminds me a bit more of Austin Powers.
Oh god.
Are you ready? Are you gonna try some very unfunny humor?
Yeah, it turns out Whiplash isn't even the main villain of the movie. The main villain's this guy.
Again, if this were...
Don't get me wrong. Justin Hammer is, in the comics, an actual decent threat for Iron Man. But honestly, for a movie at this point of the MCU, and for the story they should have treated, they needed to reserve this kind of villain for at least later on, or have a more proper team up, because you need a combination of the more sophisticated non-fighting villain with instead one that is more prone to fight. Here instead, Whiplash, unfortunately, like we said, there are not many action scenes here, so most of the time will be just talking, and for scenes like this, having very stupid talking scenes.
So instead of Mickey Rourke as the villain, we get some Weasley guy in a suit again.
Because that's what they want to see as an Iron Man villain.
I mean, Iron Man has had those sorts of villains, but there's
let's be honest, Jova. The ones that people, at least from a scratch point of view, without having seen anything, the enemies of Iron Man that people remembers the most are the Mandarin, Whirlwind, and Whiplash.
Don't forget MODOK. Everyone remembers MODOK.
More or less. This is one of those movies that thinks that by saying the same word over and over, it becomes a theme of the movie. In this case, legacy. They say, you see, guys, the theme of this film is legacy because they say the word legacy a lot.
But Joe is right. There's also MODOK, even though I'm not even sure how would that be transplanted into something in the MCU.
Well, Gio, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was clearly trying to go for the MCU, so why not go off of that? Make him huge for some goddamn reason.
And stuck in a position.
Oh, I'm sorry, was there a conversation going on between these two?
Oh god, this. Yeah, apparently Whiplash's entire motivation is to have his Kakatua bird.
Why not just tell them your address back in Russia? Company talk, just what I needed.
Okay, we'll move on from that scene then.
Quite possibly the best thing about this movie, Don Cheadle, and even then, you don't get used to your best strengths.
Well, the best thing to come from this movie.
And you know what's sad is, even though he's one of the best things to come of this movie, even his inclusion comes from controversy because of what happened to Terrence Howard. Like, man, poor Terrence Howard.
Oh, there we go. We're getting some minor backstory about Ivan's father, which is basically the story about, Crimson Dynamo. All you need to know, like I said, similar to Titanium Man, is a bootleg copy of Iron Man. But for purpose of the MCU, the character of the character of Anton Vanko was just a scientist. Again, that's all you need to know.
That's another thing. Why did they make Whiplash another dollar budget Iron Man ripoff? Like, man, I mean, it's one thing that they already did it for their first movie, but to do it twice?
Because, again, Jova, we were trying to be similar to the Ultimate Universe, because that's a good idea.
I mean, well, even the Ultimate Universe diversified things better than this movie does.
Also, for the longest time, the MCU had a reputation for having crap villains.
Yeah. Loki was pretty much the turning point.
They're either bland, uninteresting, have no motivation or poorly established motivation,
and in the end, they're just copies of the heroes.
Yeah, they're just they just have the same powers as the heroes, but evil.
And since most of the times they're one-notes, they're played by very high-profile actors who don't care about the role because it's probably gonna be killed by the end of the movie.
It says something that at this point the most memorable villain we had was played by Jeff Bridges for that line, "Tony Stark built this in a cave."
With scraps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Joe, after this I got to show you that Iron Man YouTube poop.
Of course.
I think you already showed me that.
Well, but if I have, I'll probably show you another one from that.
Going to what was said also before, also the question that she was asking, I'm also curious about, considering how most of his movie plot is fluff with not many action
Guys, another theme here. Tony needs to learn that he doesn't have to do everything alone. Almost like they're building up to something. Isn't that right, Shiroi?
Well, she's burped and Tony...
Oh, Queens, New York! If you look to your right, you can see Spider-Man slinging around.
Sorry, Joe. I'm pretty sure at this point Uncle Ben is not dead yet.
Also, Tony, you don't know what you're doing. You've been fucking up this whole movie.
Also, to you do realize that we're probably going to see Uncle Ben get killed again to replace,
of course.
know who.
Oh, there you go. Our bootleg Iron Man... So it's, but no, what I was saying is, considering this movie has practically not many action scenes, and the one thing that the video game tie-ins to the movies have done until this point is basically compensate that by having.
Wait, I'm sorry, T. I gotta say something right here. Okay, so Hammer, you're seeing this guy hack your software right now. Do you think maybe you should take more precautions? And what does he do after this? Yeah, he's just gonna continue working with him! Like, not even put in the safety protocols, after seeing that the guy can clearly hack the system.
Not just that, like, it's pretty clear that this guy is not really answering for you, but he's doing whatever the fuck he wants, and you're doing nothing to assert your dominance.
You see what I mean? It's so hard to take this guy seriously as the villain. It's like the same problem I had with Venom.
Well, why do you think you're having a hard time finding volunteers? One guy that volunteered for you is facing 180 degrees the other way.
But still, yeah, I'm really curious what the video game based on this movie will try to compensate the lack of action scenes.
You know, it's especially really bad that they cut out those more sympathetic scenes for Ivan, because all we're left with is just supposed to be the foil to our actual comedic villain. And I'm sorry. Look, again, Black Panther...
Very disrespectful.
Black Panther did that better too, you know, having Claw be the more comedic villain next to Killmonger here. Yeah. They bounced off of each other rather well. What helped was that Killmonger was a nice fleshed out character. Like, let me put it like this. This character, Ivan, feels like Killmonger could have been without the sympathy scenes, and yet, I'm gonna say it, even without the sympathy scenes, Killmonger was a better fleshed out character than Ivan in this movie. Like, seriously, what the hell did they do to his character in that script?
Also, that side boob. Well, sort of.
Again, Jover implying this film had one.
Well, it has a writer, so it must have had a script.
That they had to keep free writing all the time.
I'm from a place where I can hide my accent so cleverly. I'd do one of the most controversial film roles ever and just flip off anyone who has anything bad to say about it. Yeah, I like Scarlett Johansson,
How
but
risky.
I like Scarlett Johansson, but she doesn't always handle controversy the best, as we've seen.
That's a big sip right there.
Oh no, this scene.
See, guys, alcoholism is funny.
Mhm.
This is what we're using the Iron Man suit for, folks.
You know, it's a good thing that I actually do have alcohol right here. But
Also,
yeah, I'm close. But for now, I guess I'll just not.
so remember how the last scene with Tony and Rhodey was Tony discussing things politely with Rhodey? Well, take a look at the next scene with those two, and in fact, I think that scene wasn't even too long ago.
I know, right? Iron Man 2, everyone! See the prosperous, bright future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Imagine trying to put this in the trailers. Why don't you try
Oh
to...
no.
Again, we're taking inspiration from the Ultimate Universe, and what's a constant in that? Constantly drunk Tony Stark.
Guys, he peed in his suit.
Someone just...
Shoot the camera. Just put the camera out of its misery.
Aww. Stop with the banter.
Please do not remind us. Oh, never mind. It has a filtration system for this stuff.
Yeah, it did, because it's a reference to Dune.
We're not even halfway through with this movie yet. Okay,
Yeah.
take off the suit. And they cheer! They cheer for this.
And yet the music's
Cool.
And yet the music's serious. Oh, are we supposed to be laughing, or are we supposed to be?
What am I supposed to take from this scene? Seriously.
Is this supposed to be funny? Is this supposed to be dramatic?
Yeah, I mean the music.
And get this, this is what causes the rising of War Machine. Yeah, this is what causes the first appearance of the character of War Machine.
Which is kind of a shame
Basically,
because...
Rodney donning the War Machine suit. Not the climax of the previous movie, Tony Stark being drunk at a party.
Which is
This
kind
is... forget for a second about the very insulting Don Cheadle replacement, which although yeah you shouldn't forget, but very for a second, War Machine is a character that both in the comic and the cartoon has always been constantly jobbed, but at the same time try to give importance because I get it, he's Iron Man's sidekick, but he needs to stand out on his own.
boy.
And for a couple of he did in a couple of the Marvel vs. Capcom games, he actively replaced Iron Man as the character representing that. But for this movie, we get his appearance for our pointless rival fight because Tony is drunk.
And look at that, let's...
Because Tony needs to go to bed. He's drunk.
But even better, folks, we're taking inspiration from Spider-Man 3. Even as someone who likes Spider-Man 3, what are you doing replicating Spider-Man 3? You know, that dramatic scene that plays the upbeat, peppy music for when the two fronts fight.
The music from Action 50.
Iron Man needs someone to rein him in.
Yeah.
Anyway, the character, if you want a bit of a technical detail, the first major appearance of the War Machine armor was actually relatively recent, comic-wise, in 1992. The character of Rhodey started appearing.
What's this? Pepper Potts
the
doesn't
end of the
see...
70s, but the War Machine armor is more recent.
Oh, what's this? Pepper Potts seems to be suspicious of,
Natalia.
Natalia.
He's a bit jealous.
Oh. Also, I know this music from somewhere. It's been used constantly. I don't know.
Another one
what it
bites
is.
the dust.
Oh, it's that. I wish I was watching Diamond is Unbreakable instead.
Oh no, everyone. Oh my god, topical. Some people get out their smartphones.
Get it?
That was
Now
Tony
he's
being a monster.
To the public.
Holy cow, that came the fudge out of nowhere.
Oh, jeez.
And now he's on fire.
The goof.
Did we
The
mention this
goof
film is
is
also a
on
complete
fire.
total Frankenstein?
No, you really didn't have to do this. And now we're going DBZ.
So, Tony just acted like a literal monster roaring at people because, I don't know, Shrek. Like, that literally just felt like a Shrek moment. Couldn't have felt any more out of place. So, does Rhodey now arrest Tony for clear abuse of the suit to try and bring him in and get him on detox?
No, Rhodey didn't even try and talk.
Tony,
to
are
him.
you okay?
He just instantly went to beat him up.
Admittedly, he did try to calm Tony down, and Tony was the one who instigated the fight. However, what Rhodey now does is just leave the premise.
Yeah.
You're not gonna maybe try and take him in, get him some help?
He's down. You could just...
Nope, sorry, we gotta do that typical the friends now hate each other thing of the second or third act. Good God, we're still not halfway through this movie yet.
Air Force Base in California.
I'll be right back.
Hey, you know what?
It's a bird? It's a plane?
It's a metallic man.
Is it Hyperion? For those who don't know, Hyperion is the Marvel equivalent to Superman. Yes, we do have a direct equivalent.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rhodey, instead of being, an ex-Air Force pilot and all, decides to basically present himself with the suit to the Air Force base.
You know, honestly, if this just became a War Machine movie, I could maybe forgive some of this stuff if it mainly became about War Machine. But no. Nope.
You know, Jova, these are starting to remind me a bit of Steel.
You know, the sad thing is that
With
Rhodey...
the way the armor is like that.
You know what's the sad thing is that later it's going to be shown that Rhodey's apparently in the wrong. Oh God, this movie. Okay.
Time for another poster image. Tony Stark eating donuts.
Inside of a donut.
Get it?
Remember this from the trailers, guys?
Fucking laugh already. Oh, hi, Nick.
Okay, never mind. I may have misspoke. This may be the best thing of this movie. How are you not arrested yet? Like, the government technically has every right to now.
Yeah, considering you pulled all that crap while wearing the suit, the government would actually be warranted in removing it from your possession.
Oh, normally the government are just a-holes, but at this point they're in the right, and yet we're not supposed to leave them in the right, and here we go.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. First technical appearance of the character of Black Widow, Natasha Romanova. A character created in 1964 by Stan Lee, Don Rico, and Don Heck for the purpose of having a character from the Soviet Union that was more of an anti-hero. Similar to Zangief in Street Fighter 2, it was more to mellow out the Cold War ambient in a sense of, see guys, we have the Soviet character, but she's kind of a good person.
You know, when you read it back to it like us, it really sounds pretty stupid.
It's also weird what they do with the MCU for Black Widow, because the more the movies progress, the more she starts acting instead like another Marvel character, Mockingbird, which is instead a proper Avengers member.
Which is funny because Mockingbird is later shunted off to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I know, right?
I mean,
Okay,
More banter! Oh, thank God.
Oh, can I address the issue I got with this scene?
Go on.
They don't actually call at any point in this movie while Fury's on screen.
Yeah.
They don't actually call him Nick Fury or Nick or Fury. They don't even mention his name at all. So if you hadn't seen the post-credit scene,
You have
of
no
Iron Man
idea who
1,
this guy is.
then you have to who the fuck he is. I don't think that the whole and Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury thing at the start's any excuse.
Yeah, like, I'll be quite honest, the only reason that they knew that this was Nick Fury was because that I'd read the Ultimate comics before this. And I'll admit, the first time I saw the trailer involving him asking Tony to step out of the donut, I thought, wait, holy heck, they're actually using that version of Nick Fury? This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, at this point, people weren't really used to the whole trend in
Also-
the MCU for end credit scenes, so a lot
Yeah.
of people probably didn't see that one that he was in.
Like, fun fact, the first time I ever saw the after credit scene of Iron Man was when we commentated on Iron Man.
Also,
Really?
this subplot is still going.
Alright, oh, they didn't get
We need
his
to waste
bird.
precious minute about Mickey Rourke wanting his fucking bird.
Which, spoilers, he never gets.
Like,
It's a pretty birdie.
yes, but not to waste time for this.
I know.
Just. Don't get me wrong, I haven't read that much in the comics about Whiplash, so I don't even know if he had a bird pet in the original run or anything.
You know, in terms of scummy businessman, I'll give Jeff Bridges this. At least he played the part good. We get it.
We know.
Oh, drone.
Drones are better, so we can have an excuse of Iron Man killing these things without remorse. Because if we actually had humans in there, we would create ethical dilemmas.
Arkham Knight.
Okay, again, to be fair, you know, every time he tried to put a guy in the suit, by he I mean Hammer, the guys the guys were literally twisted
Contorted.
around. Yeah. And the bodies aren't made for contort, by the way.
Have you ever played Twister, Dweebs?
Funny.
Yes.
Get it? He reflected what he said back to him.
It's like
Although-
Batman Begins now.
Okay, to be fair, even in real life, I guess drones would be safer. I guess.
We're not wasting human resources, quote unquote.
Speaking of which, now the army has their own Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, you know that thing where Nick Fury mentions, Scarlet, anyway,
Why are you-
mentions
why are you
about how...
trusting Justin... Hang on,
Also-
wait. Why are you trusting Justin Hammer even though it was shown that he was secretly trying to make his own suit illegally?
I don't know.
Because we gotta show that everyone's got it out for Tony here.
Well, Tony kind of brought all this on himself.
Yeah.
And that's my big problem with this movie in particular.
And-
Like, I know businessmen piss off a lot of people in general, but in this movie, Tony's just actively malicious half the time, and we're about to see it peak very soon.
And the problem is that we're apparently supposed to sympathize with him over some of these people. Like, don't get me wrong, I sympathize with him over the likes of Justin Hammer, but that's like the very bare minimum. Heck, I may sympathize with him more than Ivan, but that's only because Ivan's a terribly, terribly written character. As for everything else, though, I mean, I see where the government's coming from based off of how he's acted. He's not really done a good job proving them
Oh,
wrong.
I have. I just remembered
Gone.
all this. Yeah, the saddest thing is that this wasn't the worst movie Paramount released in 2010.
Let me guess. Transformers, Rise of the Fallen.
No, that was
That was
2009.
2009.
Okay.
2010 was Last Airbender.
Oh.
Yeah. In
What a
fact,
great
was
summer Paramount had, eh?
in fact, now that I think about it, wasn't this the last Paramount involved MCU movie?
Well, production-wise, the last film was Captain America: The First Avenger.
Wait,
But for
Paramount
a
were
couple
involved
of,
in that?
Yeah, but for a couple of films after, Disney and Paramount agreed a deal where they have the Paramount logo on Avengers and Iron Man 3.
Huh, I did not know Paramount were involved with Captain America First Avenger. I guess this was around the time when technically Paramount were the ones in charge of the MCU deal.
Yeah. The Marvel Studios were only supporting it. But remember, the technical buyout from to Disney to Marvel happened. I think it was between 2006 and 2008.
Actually,
So
I
around
thought it
this
was in
time,
the 2010 area.
So around this time, it was still very murky.
You know what's sad is like, well, even though we were getting onto that cusp of where everything based off of Marvel had to be MCU related, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 still managed to have a very, very, very good smorgasbord of characters. So what the hell happened with
I
Infinite?
agree only partially. I will still agree, but still say that at least 2 or 3 choices in both sides of the roster should have been replaced with something better.
Did Coulson ever meet Tony in the first movie?
Yes.
Yes,
He was
remember,
actually one of
he's
the
the one
guy-
who approached him in the first place.
It is
Tony
kind of
can have no
refreshing.
contact-
It is kind of refreshing to see Coulson in the movies again.
Okay, so Tony can't contact the outside world. Oh yeah. A fine job you'll do of that, mate.
So yeah, basically Tony is at house arrests.
Yeah. For oh god, I fucking hate that bit.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
on subplot number 60.
basically the army is now studying the RD core arc reactor so they can duplicate it in mass
But
for
aren't
the
these
forces.
the ones that don't work properly though? So basically, you're using faulty technology. Oh. You see, every time this guy shows up, I groan on the inside.
and on the outside
He's not
too.
He's not even a good villain. He's just one of those. Again, just like the first movie, and indeed.
If anything, you know, Jova. Oh, sorry, go on, dude. Still gone.
And indeed, any future movie that has a huge connection with Tony, the villain's just some prick in a suit.
Ugh.
Riveting.
You know, Jova. This is not just in Hammer. This is arcade without these illusion tricks.
It really is, isn't it?
Mysterio.
No.
No,
Well,
arcade.
there are a couple of characters in the Marvel comics who use similar tricks. One of these is called Arcade. He's a whiny brat with freckles who specialize in basically doing jigsaw-style traps by capturing people and putting them in danger rooms.
Hell, at least he has that going for
At one
him.
point, he even did a Battle Royale rip-off, a story that pissed everyone off because it killed off a lot of young Marvel characters.
Ooh, yeah.
But that's a story for another time. But anyway, easier to actually give proper weapons to the War Machine suit. Ironic, it's the villain who gives the weapon that iconic to War Machine.
So he does something right.
I guess. One thing, well done. You're 1 and 5.
Congratulations.
Ironic.
Good
You know what's
work.
ironic is that this one good thing is quite possibly the best lasting thing from this movie. Because when you get down to it, this movie doesn't really affect much in the overall MCU canon.
No.
Well, that's
It
'cause
just It just establishes War Machine and Black Widow essentially.
That's because it tries to set up MCU canon.
Again, you know what this would have been better off as? A War Machine movie. Like, seriously.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it would have made much more sense.
Like, okay, have Tony on this downward spiral, but then Rhodey has to then step up as the role while he tries to help Tony. Then you can make Tony's whole embarrassing stint thing more of a subplot as opposed to the main focus. Fans wouldn't be as annoyed, and we still could get action with Rhodey as War Machine. Or heck, as the replacement Iron Man for the time being before he becomes War Machine.
I mean, he was a replacement Iron Man for a couple of occasions.
The last action scene in this movie?
Oh goody, this scene.
Basically, nope.
Okay.
Oh hey, the old video he showed at the expo. Why is he rewatching this?
Motivation.
My dad, who I think is a shithead.
Wait, does he hate his father at this point?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes he does. Oh, blooper reel! Right, yeah. Hi,
Oh,
Tony.
there's little Tony. Or so help me.
Well, it's his mother's not named Martha.
Martha Stark.
I mean,
I'll do
not too far-fetched.
I'll do it like in Meet the Parents, where someone's name is Pamela Martha Fokker.
This is funnier now because I think it was with the BBC, but there was an interview with someone, and his kids came in the office and started running around, and the mother had to come in and drag them out.
In case you need a name, Howard is played by John Slattery.
Look forward to Howard Stark changing actors a lot.
He's like a Time Lord. I'm surprised.
Hey son, I'm just here in case you're watching this and you need some motivation.
Yeah, you have specific coincidences about your life.
You know, guys, I'm surprised S.H.I.E.L.D. are letting him do all this stuff.
That's...
Well, Dweebs, especially considering what we know, what S.H.I.E.L.D. is at this point, honestly, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Incompetent.
Well, why are they incompetent? We know why they are.
Howard, limited...
We'll get to that.
I'm sorry, limited by the technology of your time. Boy, is that awkward in hindsight, considering the tech that you clearly had as established by not only Captain America First Avenger, but also several other MCU movies, Howard. Just saying. But yes, you... Wait, weren't you on house arrest?
Yeah, great house arrest, guys. Yeah, there she.
Also, what were you doing?
He's just allowed to just drive right out of the house.
What are those, strawberries?
S.H.I.E.L.D. are morons. And surprisingly...
Those are strawberries.
Yeah, surprisingly, Agent Coulson is not fired.
There, I just unlocked everything in Celeste.
Yeah,
no, you didn't.
Anyway, as I was saying, surprisingly, Coulson isn't fired.
Oh, hey, Pepper. So, Tony, are you done being drunk all of a sudden?
Also, what the hell is that? What was that object on the?
Oh, look at that, guys! Look at that, guys! It's the convenience news.
Of all people, why Bill O'Reilly?
Topical, I guess.
Also, who was in charge of? Who did you say was in charge of Marvel at this time?
Kevin Feige.
No.
Oh wait,
Ike Perlmutter.
Yeah. Well, considering he's apparently a pretty unpleasant fellow.
Well, for content's sake, he held the Captain Marvel movie hostage unless Kevin Feige worked the strings to allow him to make that Marvels and Humans TV show.
Yeah.
Although nowadays,
This is one of the reasons why the Captain Marvel movie came out technically too late.
although
Yeah.
nowadays, Marvel Studios is now under the auspices of Disney's film studios.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
Of which
Marvel
Ike
Entertainment.
Perlmutter sadly holds a share, but at least he's no longer the top dog.
Although, well, you know what I think of the Captain Marvel movie, so we're going
Oh.
into that.
Trust me, Dwibs, I agree with you, like. Although, part of me does wonder if the Captain Marvel movie had come out when it was originally supposed to, if it could have turned out better then. It definitely would have. It definitely would have tended to some of the problems, but we're not here to talk about that movie.
Again,
We'll get to that one when we get to it.
this is another one of those scenes where I swear there was no script, there was no dialogue. When it's like, it feels like Robert Downey Jr. just forgot his lines.
Not just that, this is supposed to be an important scene where Tony gets confronted by Pepper about these choices and everything, but the Banter just mellows everything out, and once again, it gives the impression that none of that he said is important.
And as I said
Which
earlier,
it said it should.
hey guys, you noticed a plot point that kind of just disappeared? His alcoholism. Yeah, if I recall correctly, the alcoholism plot just goes out the window.
It will
from
be
this point.
reprised in Iron 3, I think.
Really?
That's just PTSD.
Yeah, that's more so PTSD. I don't recall him ever getting drunk in Iron Man 3, but yeah, again, the whole subplot of the alcoholism thing, out the window.
Oops.
Like, it's one thing to have an uninteresting plot, but at least resolve it properly to justify the time wasted on it. Also, I'm just going to say, ha 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 ha. I'm just going to say this right now. As far as introductions go, well, I find this movie a at least decent introduction for War Machine. I find it a pretty bad introduction for Black Widow. Like, God, she is borderline. She's borderline unlikable in this movie. She causes.
I mean, she's supposed to be like a secret spy femme fatale, so I can understand that kind of attitude. It's just that her character is so poorly handled in general.
And the movie expects us to like her. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up pretty well. I mean, yes, later films would make her out to be sympathetic here and there, but man, even as a kid, I did not like her, no matter how cute she may be. And the fact that they showed her in a bra and panties did not help. I know they were trying to, but I'm not that easily swayed.
You hesitated when you said that, Joe.
Stop talking, Jova.
It's just choosing my words properly. Also, that scene was completely necessary because...
I just wasted the strawberries.
You couldn't even put them in the bin.
God damn it.
What, for you going against strawberries?
The wasting
The
of
key to the
strawberries.
future is here.
Wow, Howard Stark really was
Is this the sequel to Tomorrowland that people dreamed of?
Don't you mean the prequel, since it came before Tomorrowland?
True. Maybe this is the secret origin instead of Hugh Laurie was with Robert Downey Jr. as the villain.
Interesting.
Also, there's no one from S.H.I.E.L.D. chasing
Honest-
him or anything.
Alright,
Jarvis.
He's a thing.
Also, yes, Yuri?
Honestly, considering how Tony's been in this movie, like, he could pass for a villain, why not?
Again, sure, that's the thing. We're supposed to sympathize with him over the government in this movie, which is,
I don't sympathize with our protagonist.
He's constantly saying that, don't worry, I can...
Belgian waffle stand.
He's constantly been saying throughout this whole movie that, don't worry, I can handle this, I know what I'm doing, even though this film has been showing time and again that he has no freaking clue what he's doing.
You know...
Don't die, Jova.
Yeah, I think it's a major problem, but this movie really expects us to root or care for...
Oh, yeah, here we go. Yes, the 1974 Stark Expo was shaped like an arc reactor when you see it from above.
Of course.
This is so stupid.
Why? Apparently it was part of a secret hidden message. We are about to go full Illuminati on this. It's that stupid.
Rediscovering a new element doesn't make sense. You're rediscovering something that's already been made, so it's not new.
Okay, why are we going Da Vinci Code on this all of a sudden?
I don't know.
Because we have the budget to have holograms.
It's nice, but God, is this a waste of those effects? I get it, superhero movies can be more than just beating people up, but... Treasure Planet, is that you? Can you please come back to us?
Pretty
Sorry,
please.
Drover.
It
I have Frozen 2 instead.
That's the thing, though. I mean, I swear, Treasure Planet was a movie that just had no luck whatsoever considering what it was released up against and how terribly marketed it was. Yet Disney
Same
being...
fate as Atlantis, Drover.
Yeah, Disney being... Well, at least they gave Atlantis a chance with a direct-to-video sequel.
So... Well, yeah, it's just discovered.
Yeah, but you can't synthesize it, and yet he just synthesizes it.
Well, it's more like... That's the thing, he more discovered it theoretically.
I thought a subplot of this movie was that all the machines would break.
What are you doing?
Working while rock music plays.
Because that's Tony's...
Is that like the second or third time that the garage has been, filled with dust from broken ceiling?
I assume he had this stuff shipped into him since he's clearly on house arrest.
Why is no one from S.H.I.E.L.D. asking him what he's doing?
Oh, there he is.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah, great security.
Oh, you heard he broke the perimeter. Oh my god, he just literally commented on it. That was like 3 years ago. Where you been? I was working on stuff. Hey!
Teasing.
Get it, guys? We're making the Avengers. Are we being subtle enough for you?
If by
Yes,
subtle
quite.
you mean crushing
You need
me
the
under the weight
prototype
of it
to
all.
Captain America's shield? What?
Oh, get it? It's just so that it weighs up here. See, it's not that big a deal. Haha, classic MCU. Bring up something that's clearly a big deal to the audience, but treat it like it's not that big a deal in story.
They just kind of shrug it off.
Oh.
Oh, and Phil is being reassigned.
To New Mexico.
Wonder why
Oh, what a shame! We were having such a good time, the two of us, as he clearly got
You two
outside
had great
perimeter.
chemistry.
Gee, I wonder why you've been reassigned. Maybe it's because you sucked at your job.
Nah. Actually, it's the setup for another Marvel movie.
Nah, he just sucked at his job.
I wish that were the case, but we know for reals it's
Oh,
because they're
what is
setting
that?
up 4.
Because this film wasn't done enough setting up.
That's again quite possibly the biggest problem with this movie. It's more obsessed with setting up for things than being its own plot. Like, don't get me wrong, the MCU has had plenty of movies that were clearly made to set up stuff, but at least they had a plot to go with them to keep you entertained. Like, maybe it was the novelty of the MCU at the time, but I don't know. I mean, considering how the extra crossovers hadn't even begun yet, I can see why people may not have been too happy with this movie, in hindsight, if not current. This is completely necessary for the experiment, guys! He couldn't have just aimed it at the arc reactor to start with.
Exactly, yeah. No. He needed to do this.
Right?
Because it looks better for the audience.
Guys, why is everyone so stupid in this movie?
Beats the shit out of me.
Tony's stupid. Rhodey's
Pepper
kind of stupid.
is very uninterested in anything.
Wait,
Heck, even Black Widow is kind of just there.
There you go. We have synthesized a new element.
even though he said it was impossible to synthesize like a few minutes ago.
But don't you see, Dribs? We make the impossible possible. Row,
That
fight
is
the
our
power.
focus. So, how are you gonna call it?
Trianthalum.
Triangular, yeah.
Get it? Because it's similar to how the Ultimate Iron Man symbol is. Fuck you.
I get that at the time.
Oh, meanwhile, right, we had Whiplash in this movie. I
Oh
forgot.
yeah, Whiplash is. Yeah, oh yeah, we have Mickey Rourke. Oh, never mind. Oh no, wait, we're back.
Uh-oh.
Also, get it? He's villainous and sophisticated because he plays golf.
You know what's sad? Mickey Rourke can actually put on a Russian accent, yet Scarlett Johansson can't be bothered. Like, I know I shouldn't be making such a big deal about it. It's just, it feels so weird. You have a character who's clearly Russian, not speak with a Russian accent. I mean, I guess, to be fair, not all Russians speak with an accent. It just feels so bizarre seeing as how the character in every other medium does have that accent. Except for maybe Spider-Man the Animated Series, but then again, her nationality isn't as clear there.
We're still going with this joke, by the way.
Oh, get ready, guys. I think Justin Hammer here is about to finally, and I mean finally, exert some authority.
Why the shoes?
To show he's got
He's
authority.
Just there, like, what the hell, man?
Maybe you should have done that a while ago when he was clearly not paying mind to you.
Oh, watch out. He's trying to be angry.
To be fair, he just said the drones wouldn't be all too ready for the expo.
You probably should have told him that.
Yeah, he's like, this guy is stupid. Yeah, bear in mind, this guy's supposed to be the main villain.
I get that they were probably, you know what this feels like? It feels like he's trying to one-up Jeff Bridges' Tony Stark built this in a cave scene. The problem is that he doesn't have the same charisma that Jeff Bridges had.
Also, why do you do that gesture? You're not allowed to do that.
I mean, Sam Rockwell's a good actor. It's just.
Again, the character is all wrong for Justin Hammer.
Also, have you noticed that, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but have you noticed that Sam Rockwell during the course of the movies grows a stubble?
Maybe it's just a sign of his growing insanity in this movie.
I suppose, but it's weird.
And by that,
Increase in insanity makes your hair grow.
And by that I mean the actors increase in insanity, not so much the characters.
Oop.
Oh no, he killed them!
Get it? Because he said they were tough, but he took them out easily.
And by that I mean I'm just going to try and kill everyone as opposed to expose you properly. Maybe giving us a flashback or something of his father supposedly betraying them would help, but as far as I know, he's just saying hearsay. Like,
we were supposed to have stuff like that, but they cut it out because we need to set up the Avengers.
And I know before anyone says, oh, but they showed newspapers, there wasn't really much on those newspapers suggesting that Tony's father backstabbed them, so I'm left in the dark.
I mean, for all we know, he's just being incredibly petty.
Again, with Killmonger, they went to ultimate lengths to make him sympathetic because they had the gumption to show exactly what made him the villain.
Apparently this heals his blood toxicity.
And also,
what the fuck are you doing?
And also, it solves the problem.
So, are you ready for the exciting climax of the movie?
Hey, I just realized we have not had a single action scene since that racing. God.
Well, there
We
was that
really
one.
haven't.
Well, okay.
Also, most of the subplots in this movie have gone nowhere.
Okay. I guess to be fair, we did have that fight scene between,
Yep, our intimidating bad guy here, the fancy.
Okay, to quote Deus Ex Machina, I'm sorry. To quote Deus Ex, I never asked for this. But yeah, I guess we technically had that fight scene between Tony and Rhodey because seeing two superheroes fight each other, no, that's what the people want.
I wouldn't even count that as... Well, I guess it is an action scene technically,
yeah,
but...
it
bad
lasted,
action
3-4
scene.
minutes, tops.
Also, it was kind of necessary because Tony really needed his ass kicked.
True. The problem was how it ended. Like, Rhodey doesn't even try to arrest him or get him the help he clearly needs as a friend. He just leaves. Stop! Stop trying.
Is he directing to the audience who went to see this movie?
Hammer drone.
I didn't call it hammer. It's hammer time.
Oh, wow. One's for the army and one's for the
And this
Navy.
feels like a Microsoft presentation.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's only missing the car on stage.
And the Air Force, even though you thought all of these were supposed to fly, but I guess different ones for different strokes.
What are you doing? Get it because we have a mimetic pattern. This movie is so stupid.
It is stupid.
Again, Marvel's lucky that the movies after this were definitely a lot better, because if they continued this trend...
Except one of them.
Let's see, 4... Oh, well, I'm talking about Phase 1. But yeah, trust me, Phase 2 has its own hiccups here and there. Again, for as much as we do of the MCU, Phase 1 was pretty rocky when you get down to it.
And here's War Machine.
Aw, not a car.
Hey, it's Iron Man. Oh, yeah.
I mean, truth be told, the War Machine armor is more simplistic compared to the Iron Man one because it trades the repulsor rays for, simple machine gun and rockets. But it's because it compensates this with other functions, like it's lighter, for example.
Also, it's very militant looking.
Yeah. Round 2.
Hi.
And suddenly Nintendo shows up.
You started a fight with him. That's not trust.
Where is he? Hacking.
Oh no! I didn't think Sony were gonna get involved this early. Again, I didn't think Sony were gonna come in this early.
Yeah, okay. We're not saying that Sony shot people here. Just
They had the mother of all hack-ins, and it was terrible. No!
Well, at least he didn't say, "Oh hell no." So
Was that
at least
Don
there's
Cheadle
that.
just realizing, oh my god, this is my introduction to the MCU?
My paycheck is not high enough. No joke. At least for a good chunk of the phases of Marvel, Robert Downey Jr. was basically top bill actor to the point where in the first Avenger movie there was minor controversy that he was taking up most of the budget.
You know, when you get down to it,
It
though,
was-
out of all the heroes, Tony kind of has the weakest roster of movies to
who was
himself.
taking up most-
And
who was
possibly
taking
the
up
worst bunch.
most- Wait.
Yes,
Who was
Vibs?
taking- Who was taking up most of the budget?
Robert
Well,
Downey
not
Jr.'s
most of the budget, but
salary.
in terms of actors' budget, Robert Downey
Well, Robert
Jr.
Downey Jr. was only paid like $500,000 the first time round.
Oh yeah, that was the first time around, but by the time of Avengers, when he was pretty much the face of the MCU.
No, you don't.
It feels like Pepper Potts' job in this movie is to yell at people who are clearly being idiots, which, all the more power to you, but she needs more to
Thanks,
do.
Natasha.
Who's behind this?
Look
Huh.
at Natasha. She's much more strong compared to Pepper. I don't get this message.
I really don't. You get it either. It's again, it's one of the most awkward introductions for a character in the universe.
Just that. Again, the movie purposefully does this comparison with Pepper, doesn't get results, but Natasha certainly does it because she's superior with that. What are you telling me, movie?
Is it trying to give a stereotype that blondes are useless compared to redheads?
This is funny because Scarlett
That's
Johansson
the
was-
thing. Pepper shouldn't even be completely blonde. Weird.
You know,
Yeah, the intimidating whiplashes, an hacker behind the computer.
hey, Ivan, you know how you said that the secrets behind Stark were going to be revealed? Again, all it just looks like you're doing is blowing stuff up, so... Guys,
Anytime.
what's the plan here exactly to reveal Stark's behind something?
Sounds like even
Also,
Stark-
for reference, in
Their
case you're
avatar.
wondering, if I recall correctly, these particular types of drones are made up for the movie. They don't really take inspiration from anything particular in the comics, but that's because the storyline is very loosely based on the War of the Armor storyline. A story where basically Tony goes full almost batshit insane, and tries to destroy every single armor present in the Marvel Universe because he fears they may weaponize the.
Oh, so that's where Iron Man 3 got that dumb plot point from.
That too.
Oh no, the kid wearing the patented Iron Man helmet, which you can buy at Target for $19.99.
No, don't kill
Somebody's
Don't you see? You can be a hero too, kid.
especially if you would be bitten by a radioactive spider.
Peter. He didn't kill Peter Parker.
Also, Dr. Pepper.
Oh, hello there.
Happy, eyes on the road.
Look, I know it's
A movie now?
People are already in enough danger.
Scarlett Johansson, dude, but focus on the road.
Not to mention, considering what happens in the future, I'm pretty sure Happy's target is different than Scarlett's.
In Michael Bay movie now, gratuitous fans.
I have to say, maybe it's what gets his happy tingle going.
Tech.
Never say that again.
I'd like to imagine that's where they got the idea of the Peter tingle from. Pew, pew! Hey, this looks like that set from the first Transformers film.
Oh no, all these automobiles.
No! Thank God nobody's in it because... I guess that explosion looked pretty.
I mean, to be fair, Jova, if this was a Fox movie, the climax would probably be taking place in a Vancouver forest.
Oh God. She's wearing I don't know, she's wearing something that'll allow her to replace Regina from Dino Crisis in Marvel vs.
It's a
Capcom
jumpsuit,
Infinite.
Jova.
Yeah. Okay, folks, now it's time for the Black Widow is Awesome Hour.
Yeah, Black Widow does not have any particular superpower. She's a bit agile, but most of her stuff is gadget based. Particularly what she has around her wrists.
Well, mind her actions her action scene here is kind of repetitive too. Stunt pose, stunt pose, stunt pose.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
admit, as a kid, something about that action scene just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I don't know, maybe it seemed a little unnatural for her character, or maybe it is just the stunt posting that kind of feels awkward.
It kind of tells me that Jon Favreau is not really good with action scenes, but yeah, his other movies in his career pretty much tells me that,
I can
like
imagine
Cowboys and Aliens or Elf.
Jon Favreau going, I want to show a scene of me getting my rear end kicked while Scarlett Johansson pretty much takes these guys down like it's complete flawless.
Well, the next movie he directed after this was Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah,
Oh dear.
not exactly the most stellar one.
That was 5 years later, I think.
I
No,
I
it was
don't.
like 3 or 4.
Wait, was that in 2013 or 2015? Oh, pepper spray!
No, Cowboys and Aliens was in 2011, Jova. 1 year after
God,
this.
was it?
Chef was in 2014.
Oh.
The Chef was good.
I haven't seen
Oh,
it yet.
look at how awesome. She took down all those other guys. I mean, I have no problems with any scene of a character being awesome. It's just, it does, I guess now that I'm older, I do see that.
Honestly, I'm fine with that, Jova. It's just that their action scene for that particular scene was dull, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, maybe that's it. It's kind of like with Incredible Hulk, where technically those scenes could be amazing, but the character doesn't exactly make it better. So, you're just
Okay, now
doled
we got
out.
Now we got Superman 64 flying through regions. Yeah, so, again,
Damn.
taking the worst out of superhero stuff.
Oh,
Tony, I'm fighting you, but it's against my control now.
please, Tony Senpai, help me.
Or I
Because you
guess
just
you can just
can.
do that. It's funny.
I mean, I don't doubt, Natasha's computer skills, but dealing with Stark armors, it's probably something that she shouldn't know how to do.
You know what it reminds me of? That scene where they established that Tony made his suits with that stuff to keep people out, yet somehow Rhodey gets in the suit just fine.
Yeah, and also, I'll be honest. I think, can you guys hear me?
Oh
Yes.
my god, these... Even now we want the banter. Shut up!
Banter,
Go on,
banter.
James.
Anyway, before Tio bursts a blood vein, at times Scarlett Johansson can kind of come off as a bit rather monotone sounding.
Yeah.
I think it's intentional. Even the Italian voice acting gave her that kind of tone.
Okay. I can see why they went with the monotone thing, because clearly in this movie they were trying to make her off as a stoic agent. The only issue is how...
Knock.
The only issue is how later her character was contradicted. Or I guess you could say it developed into a more caring person. The line becomes blurred.
What happened to his silver suit?
Oh, remember, Justin Hammer pimped it out with all of his new armaments and stuff to make him War
Yeah.
Machine.
No, I meant the one he had.
The drones, you mean?
No, the one Tony had in Monaco.
Oh.
That
I
was
don't
just
know.
the case one, I guess.
Oh,
Banter!
yeah, what we've talked, I think it was the Mark V. Yeah, I don't know what happened to that.
I mean, I know it got whipped a lot, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm guessing he just trashed it.
I love how they're wasting time talking
Oh
while
my
a strike
God.
force is coming to raise this place to the ground.
And now I think it's time for a trailer shot.
Yep. Believe it or not, this was a shot that was shown a lot trailer-wise.
Yeah,
Hey!
the back-to-back badassness of Iron Man War Machine, basically tricking the audience in saying an entire movie was based around this. And from what I heard, the video game actually is. You can take control of either of them for all the missions.
So already the video game sounds more interesting.
Here we go. Oh.
Ooh, fatality!
Again,
Combo breaker!
So we can be hardcore as hell and still be PG-13. Delicious ultra violence.
Nice. Yeah. So.
What are you doing?
The
Oh,
Wonder Woman pose!
with a laser barrage.
Laser.
I like how we never ever see that again in the MCU.
Yeah. Well, technically we do replace it with Marvel vs. Capcom moves, so...
I guess that's technically better.
We still haven't seen a proton cannon, though. That's a shame.
Like to see, guys, he just said he could use it once.
And Justin Hammer is
And I
under
think
arrest.
that's the end of Justin Hammer, I think. We'll never see him again.
Well, there was that shot.
Oh, villainous breakdown time.
The rabbit here, all hail the king.
Oh, that's right, he was in that.
Wait, what? So, you say he shows up in a short film, eh?
Yeah.
What's it called?
All hail the king.
Java, it's the All Hail the King short.
I have not
The
seen
one-
that.
the one-
Java is the one that serves to basically it was done in very short amount of time to basically tell to the fans that's okay. The real Mandarin is a thing.
Yeah, I have not seen that.
Oh, okay.
it's on the
So,
Fall of Dark World Blu-ray.
oh, that would explain why I haven't seen it, because I didn't get that Blu-ray. Uh-oh.
Howdy.
Now he's in a full-out Iron Man suit, because that's what I needed for my villains.
Again.
And again with the whiplashes.
Yeah, again, it's just a repeat of the last movie.
Ah, get it? He called his weapon the ex-wife. The one that Justin Hammer gave. Uh-oh. And it looks like Justin Hammer's tech
Funny.
doesn't work out well.
Maybe you should have aimed at the chest piece.
I guess the missile was just that useless, seeing as how it hasn't blown up yet.
Also, yeah, not gonna lie, this design for the Whiplash armor is not great.
Hey
I honestly
guys, it's
prefer the
Iron Man.
first instance of- I mean, the whips are cooler, but I prefer the costume-wise. I prefer the first instance.
Wow, that's pretty bad because the first instance was literally just wireframe across his body.
I think that was what made it more, cooler, more simplistic in that. Instead, here is just another armor, it's just with whips instead of, repulsor rays.
Hell, at least Ironmonger had a more interesting.
Really?
unique
You're doing
look,
that same move again?
because it'll totally work this time. Also, why are you taking your helmet off, dude?
There is no reason to do that.
It's
Because Mickey Rourke wants to show off.
Next thing you're gonna tell me is that Thanos takes his helmet off for most of the movie.
it was stupid there and it's stupid here. I don't care how powerful you think you are.
Now, let's just see, Joe, we need to show the actor's face most of the time.
Even though Thanos' face was perfectly visible even
Alright,
with
we're
that
doing the
helmet on.
DBZ laser shit.
They're crossing the beams! And there you go. I think that's fight over.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke's character is dead.
Wasn't he such a great villain?
I can see why Mickey Rourke had some choice words to say about this film.
Yeah, but the problem is...
I don't blame him. He was barely, prominent in this movie, surprisingly.
Well, that's the thing, though.
Oh wait, no, he's somehow still alive, even though he had his helmet
The
off.
same words as before.
Hang on. It wasn't just,
Uh-oh.
it wasn't just this film he was on about, though. It was on about the other actors.
It's okay though, because our heroes will make it out just fine. But first things first,
I get being pissed about the movie, but I don't think it was the actor's fault either.
Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna make it in time? That's the dilemma of the movie.
Why are you just standing there?
Because get it? Because Pepper is an idiot in this movie.
Wow, fireworks. What about all those other people who probably have died?
No, don't worry. The area was evacuated in time.
And they
The
got
thing
moved to the
is,
safe
Peppa's
zone.
actually really resourceful, but you wouldn't know that from this movie.
Tell me about it.
Like, that applies to most characters in this movie, actually. Everyone's an asshole or a moron.
This movie depicts Pepper as an absolute whiny, annoying, unfunny, incompetent.
Yay, that plot point of her being the CEO was oh so necessary.
Oh my! No. Okay, just because we're
Breathe.
at the end of the
Just
movie,
breathe.
just one shot because we're at the end of the movie. There you go. I'm resuming Tony's subplot about alcoholism.
And again, the subplot of alcoholism went out the window, so it was just a waste of our time. And you know what's sad? Is that even though this movie is technically a waste of our time, you still need to watch this to get some tiny plot elements, which makes it just the tiniest bit necessary, but just that, just barely enough to make it necessary to view.
Just kiss. Stop bantering. For
There,
fuck's
there you
sake.
go,
What?
there you go.
Brody, really?
I mean, he's
The
not
third
wrong.
wheeling git.
You're making
Yeah,
this all the
I
more
agree
awkward.
with Tony, actually. Go away.
We're trying to have an intimate moment here. Come on, man.
Under the stars. Dude, take a hint
Find
and
your own
read the room.
girlfriend.
Aww.
I said
He's
next.
gonna do it anyway.
I see when I'm free, I think.
Oh,
Nah, they're
yeah.
gonna get married instead.
Oh yeah, he's not in Avengers, is he?
I don't remember if I think he has like a cameo at least.
Avengers.
The Avengers Initiative.
Yeah, we have to set up the bloody Avengers.
Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, about that. The whole him not being allowed into the Avengers completely gets swept aside near the beginning of Avengers. So yeah,
I'm
this.
guessing because of the stakes being raised so much, Nick needed all the help he could.
I get that, but it really just makes this feel all the more pointless, though.
More like it's missing a piece.
Textbook narcissism. I mean, yeah. You know, the sad thing is that this assessment is technically true. The problem is that they had to mess with Tony's character.
I'm so convinced that these had to be done in a couple of takes because at least in one of them, Samuel Jackson could not keep the stare consistently and started laughing.
Because
But
of
go
the
on,
script.
Trevor, sorry.
Again, you know, I think the issue is like, well, the problem is like, well, while that assessment is true, it's only because the script made Tony out to be this blatant of a dickweed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could be a dick, but the first movie was about him growing out of that, where he could be more of a jerk with a heart of gold.
Sorry, guys. Tony's only going to be a
Ah,
consultant.
get it? You'll only be a consultant? Ah, but you can't afford me.
What?
Yeah. And I have the coolest pose on the Avengers Assemble poster.
More ACDC.
Of course.
Are we seriously having a New Hope ending?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I want to do the full theme otherwise. Otherwise, Disney will have...
Once I was better at doing the Chewbacca noises, not anymore. Did you just kill Tony?
I think he wants to. Hey, wasn't Kate
So you
Mara
can
in
hug
this?
one and strangle the other.
It wasn't Kate Mara in this movie.
I don't know who we're talking about, Jova.
Yeah, we'll just say her character died in a plane
That's
crash.
it. Of course, there is the post-credit scene, so we'll stick around. But for now, final thoughts.
Kind of thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead, Sweeps, might as well.
This film was painful. You know, although, I mean, it's also sad because this is the only MCU film to come out in the year 2010. So for a whole year, people had this shit to on their minds until 4 came around.
Thankfully, 4 came like a year later.
Also, what an irony. The Ghost Rider movies could not afford a Highway to Hell, but Iron Man 2, yeah, he could.
Just before you carry on, Dwibs, I'm glad you brought that up to you because I was about to say, considering how this movie was, why wasn't this the first song they played in the beginning?
I know, it would have been a pretty good symbolizer of what we were in store for.
Okay, carry on, Dwibs.
Yeah, I just saw Chad Stahelski's name there. Anyway, so yeah, the problems with this movie, there's like a bajillion plots, half of them don't even go anywhere. The comedy is unfunny, at times flat out annoying. There's a bit like Jenny Tartovsky.
Yeah,
Jenny Tartakovsky was involved in this?
was he one of the animators, I wonder?
Has he ever been involved with a good movie?
He's a really talented person who finds himself on the short end of the industry a lot of times.
Oh, he did storyboard of
Huh,
the film.
how interesting.
So camera angle. So I guess we need to thank him for that ass shot of Black Widow.
Yeah.
Honestly, that kind of makes sense considering one character in season 5 of Samurai Jack gets a costume very similar to the Black Widow jumpsuit. So
Huh.
yeah, but carry on with
And half this movie was just setting up the Avengers, which I mean, I get again, you know, the cinematic universe. I get it, but you're setting it up with the nuance and subtlety of a hammer to the balls.
Heh. Funny.
Get it?
And the complete total mismatch, like the party scene.
Oh god, the party scene.
Yeah. I mean, the actors were fine, and you know, I mean, as sudden as it was, Don Cheadle did his role very well. I mean, you'll have much better movies after this.
He definitely tried to make the best of a terrible situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, Robert Downey Jr. is. Well, I mean, he's not charming in this movie. Although to be fair, that's the. Can I even say the script?
You know, it really says something that they made a movie where Robert Downey Jr. is not charming or charismatic. Like, that takes concentrated
That's
effort.
kind of his whole bit as Iron Man.
Also, what's with this song?
I guess it's.
I guess it was to
the
promote
classic tune.
the Stark Expo of '74 with Howard because it has that style. But whatever.
Cute.
You done, Libs?
Yeah, that's about it. This is just not a very good movie at all, and yet sad is that it's gonna be worse.
Unfortunately, yes. Alright, I'll go next. This movie is a fucking mess. Mind you, I honestly... we'll get to Iron Man 3 eventually, and I honestly, personally think that movie is worse to me. But that doesn't detract the fact that this movie is all over the place and not in a good way. Between the behind-the-scenes stuff, the fact that, you know, the movie spends most of the time advertising stuff rather than, you know, occupying the important parts of his own plot. The fact that the villains are so terrible in this movie, like, there is a good foundation on paper in choosing who the characters are, because Whiplash, for example, is a better choice compared to Ironmonger in the first movie. It's just been used badly. Whiplash is probably one of the worst Marvel villains I've ever seen, in the MCU, mind you. But, and also, yeah, for introduction to both War Machine and Black Widow, this is just... cool feat, to say the least. Not to mention, again, the whole controversy surrounding the actor replacement. Mind you, I'm perfectly fine with Don Cheadle. I just wish there was kept if the movie started with him, or anyway continued with the previous actor. Honestly, it would have been just better. The problem is not really in the actor's performance or appearance or anything. It's just the mere fact of why they were changed. And that's also just it. If Permatter didn't even spoke out, if it said there was just some minor technical problems that has to replace the actors, at least we would have been left with a doubt without, the what we need to know. But no, we also need to remember about the reasons why this change. But to take the half full part of the glass, at least Don does the better that he can, and he will stick around.
Hold on,
for a
guys. This
while.
movie was made in memory of Adam Goldstein.
I wonder whatever joke about it. But still, this is just it kind of one other thing that I've noticed, the fact that this reminds me a bit of how Pixar started. With Toy Story, when they did A Bug's Life, and that didn't turn out that well as they hoped, so I went immediately back to do Toy Story 2. It kind of reminds me a bit of that. After the whole Incredible 2008, the next movie in the line was immediately Iron Man 2, not another one. I think this movie could have benefited if it was just another movie.
I think we're about to get the sequence now.
Yeah. Speaking of the movie after this,
now this I actually did see in theaters.
we need to see what the hell console was called for.
Oh, and another in a tradition of these post-credit scenes that advertise the next movie, this scene was actually directed by Thor's director, Kenneth Branagh.
Huh, cute.
Yes, we get it.
Go to New Mexico. It's the land of enchantment. Come to
And
Vegas.
deserts.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hope you like sand.
What is
The
this?
choir seems to suggest something
Is this
important.
evil text? It reminds me a bit of The Mummy Returns. Dun dun dun.
Dun.
That's me all near, in case you don't know Thor's hammer.
Oh, yeah.
And Thor was actually the first MCU movie I ever saw.
Oh! Huh, that's not a bad introduction.
But anyway, let me go on, because I'm almost done. As far as Black Widow goes, again, as for an introduction, this is not the best way could. And as the later movies will show, Scarlett Johansson can carry the role. By the time we're recording this, her own movie is scheduled for next year. But let's just say that there's not much reason, as far as we know, to see more of their characters. So the fan base is very divided about that. I'll give it a shot and see what happens.
Also, that Taskmaster suit sucks.
But for the purpose of this movie, it's not just that great. Pepper is terrible in this movie. The whole banter is so unbearable. The movie thinks that the banter is the highlight of comedy, so it just inject it again and again and again, constantly, in order to try to captivate the audience. But it's just so annoying. So no, it just doesn't work for me. I'm more surprised that despite the backlash, the movie managed to be a success. Not in a sense that I would think it would have flopped, but having a more modest, box office, something along the line of 400 million instead of 600 plus millions. But, well, I guess that's what happened.
I actually have a theory to that.
But I think I'm practically done. This is definitely one of the more forgettable MCU movie. Just take the notes of the things that you need to know and move on to the next one. Jova, sorry, Shiroi.
Oh, I could go next, actually. I was actually going to bring up that theory.
Well, who wants to go next? Go next.
Well, if Jova was just going to carry on from what you just said, then Jova.
Yeah. basically, too, part of the reason that this movie did so well was because of the upcoming hype at the time. Like, let's not forget, MCU is technically the first ever time we would get a live-action superhero crossover. A lot of people had high hopes for Iron Man 2, and this is back when, the starting theater time had a lot, and I mean a lot, to call for. So, from what it seems, there was just that much hype for this movie to the point where it became a big box office success. Now compare this to other movies in the MCU that, while being good, have not made that much money. That is because now that the MCU is actually properly a thing, people are more used to the idea. Like, we gotta remember, back in 2010, good live-action superhero movies were still... Okay, they were a lot more common at this point, but, an actual superhero universe... That was something new that people wanted to see built up to properly. Now that we actually have it, people aren't as always hard-pressed to, support these as heavily. That's not to say that they don't earn support, but it's like, well, back in Iron Man 2, it must have been a time when people, for the most part, were willing to overlook the shortcomings, especially seeing as how it did promise stuff to come. And thankfully, and I do mean thankfully, those promises did pay off eventually. But, as for this movie itself, oh boy. This movie is one of the textbook examples of all the bad stuff that can come from an MCU movie. Misplaced characters, terrible pacing, on and off humor that is just downright bad. Mixed-matched characters, need I go on? Okay, what's good? The effects are good. The music is decent. That's pretty much it. I mean, okay, I like Don Cheadle, but the whole controversy really stinks up the atmosphere. And then there's the whole...
It wasn't Cheadle's fault, to be fair.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely, obviously. I mean, like I said, I really do like Cheadle. It's just everything surrounding it. Like, even as a kid, my immersion was kind of a bit swayed off, seeing how, wow, Rhodey looks completely different.
Just like what Ike Perlmutter.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie, aside from that though, the story is, Tony needs to stop being a jerk. I mean, it has all these other...
The first movie.
I mean, and it has all these other plot ideals, but a lot of them go nowhere, as in they completely disappear from the movie without proper resolution. Black Widow was introduced as a stoic woman who's better than Pepper Potts in every way, and man, oh man, while she got better, it really do not resonate with this version of Black Widow. Like, it's not even like the comics book version, where at least, while stoic, she had some redeeming factors, but this one just seems like a machine more than anything. As for anything to do with Happy, Happy's there, I guess. Huh. Kind of a step down from the first film. Oh, speaking of steps down from the first film, how about Coulson, who has the ever so important job to keep Tony on house arrest?
And failing miserably.
And he's like, oh, and his one excuse? Oh, I was off doing stuff. Now I'm about to be relocated. Bye! And then, oh man, our villain, ladies and gentlemen, one of the absolute worst of the MCU. No sympathy. His whole thing about his father is never really fully supported by the movie, and his whole plan to expose Stark, yeah, I don't see him do anything to expose Stark. He just tries to kill Stark. He does a crappy job at it.
I expose him after he dies.
Brilliant plan, genius. And at the end, he just ends up being another Iron Man clone, when we already have War Machine, who's technically an Iron Man clone. So
plus, Jeff Bridges already did that last time. So when
you get down to it, this movie is Iron Man clone central. Oh, and then there's our other villain, Justin Hammer, who's even worse than Ivan. Like, we know more about Justin Hammer, but this is not Justin Hammer, like, in any way. It's a disgrace to the character from the comics, and even as a character in his own right, he stinks. He's not funny, though he tries to be. He thinks he's not annoying, but he's incredibly annoying. He gets a little too much screen time, which makes him all the more annoying. He is just annoyance personified. Like, no disrespect to his actor. I know the man was trying, but Justin Hammer is, like I said, he is annoyance personified. And he's pretty weak as a villain. Again, it's Venom all over again. This is supposed to be our main bad guy? No, he looks like the coffee boy, if anything.
Oh, wow.
Moving on. Pepper Potts, as you guys have stated, was pretty much borderline useless in this movie. Heck, she resigns from her job as CEO of Stark Industries while we're at it, so... yeah, that was a thing. And
They literally kissed and made up.
yeah. And then our leading man himself, Tony Stark. Take every single trope you know about being a jerk, but becoming a nicer person later, throw in a bit of alcoholism, and, yeah, that's pretty much it. His character is that doled out for this movie. It's astonishing. For as much problems as the first Iron Man movie may have had, it had a decent plot structure, and Tony was a very well fleshed out enough character. But no, for here he's just your generic jerkwad who becomes a good guy at the end. Ecstatic. It says something that the one person who I think comes out the most intact is Nick Fury. And even still, you probably wouldn't know he was Nick Fury, since the movie doesn't really go out of its way to explain him that well in this.
He wasn't in the movie often enough for them to ruin him too.
But Jova, his name was at the beginning of the movie.
Was it now?
Most people don't read those. It's like, sorry, but they don't.
It's like when they top billed Norman Reedus as the Punisher for the Rise of Technobore anime movie.
Oh, yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah, there is actually an unofficial, quote-unquote, Iron Man 2 made in Japan as an anime movie called Iron Man Rise of Technobore, but don't worry, it's not canon, and for a good reason.
It's, wait, I thought that was based off of the Iron Man anime.
It's based off of the anime, but the way it's structured, it's proposed as an alternate sequel to the Avengers.
How interesting. Anyway, but yeah, that pretty much sums up my thoughts with this movie. The biggest flaw is that it's a glorified commercial. It's terrible with its product placement, and it's even worse with it constantly trying to set stuff up without telling a good story in and of itself. And it's one that hurts to watch. Like, at least with most product placement laden films or movies that are clearly commercials for future ones, at least I can say I had fun with them because they provided something. But this movie can't even do that. The fight scenes are lame and short. This movie really, really hurts to watch, and I realize now why I haven't come back to it in a while. Good day, sir. That leaves you, Shiroi.
Well, you pretty much covered the majority of this, so yeah, the entire plot for this movie is driven by our protagonist's ego, like insufferable ego. Every other character who is supposed to be productive is a moron, because that's everyone's favorite thing.
Clearly.
And Tony's level, I actually got my movies mixed up a little bit, because there was a scene I was expecting in this movie that doesn't actually happen until Iron Man 3, because the kind of stupidity he displays in that one scene from Iron Man 3 is on the same level, if not more, than the one in this movie. Than anything in this movie.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, you're right.
Basically the one where he basically gives out his address to the people trying to kill him.
Come fight me, IRL, bros.
I thought that was happening in this movie.
Don't worry, we haven't seen the last of Tony's stupidity.
Luckily, he's not as stupid as often in Iron Man 3, but yeah, that scene is so stupid. I thought it was from this movie.
Yeah. It would certainly match
Can you
with
blame
this
me?
movie's stupidity. And the excuse that he was drunk would have been a good excuse, but nope, he's actually sober during that scene.
Well, he has PTSD.
Yeah, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Aside from that, this movie's just so uneventful. It's just a lot of people yelling, a lot of arguing. And I know conflict is supposed to be eventful, but this really isn't. We're just watching a bunch of middle-aged adults bicker for 2 hours, and
You get
it's
a banter
not
scene.
fun. I'm sorry.
You get a banter scene. She gets a banter scene. You two get a banter scene, even though you're about to freaking die if you don't move here. Heck, the villain gets a banter scene. Everyone gets a banter scene.
Villain? What villain? He was kind of, he was only really prominent a couple of times, and the rest of the time he was just sitting there looking very fed up, understandably.
Well, the movie expects us to take him as a villain. God
No,
help me.
I think his one scene in the Expendables one was more memorable.
Oh yeah, he was in that.
But yeah, this movie was just such a slog.
It's sad that the best film in 2010 that had Mickey Rourke in it was the one where Mickey Rourke was had one scene. The rest of the movie was just a bunch of old guys doing action stuff. Whereas this is supposed to start something that will become a revolutionary thing in the history of the medium of film, and it's just a bunch of arguing and whining and moaning and
Oh, jeez.
Like, it doesn't make sense for kids or adults. Kids don't want to see this, and adults probably have enough of this in their lives.
Yeah, it's like watching one of those like early morning news panel TV shows. It's just not a good time. Hmm?
Good Morning Britain.
Well, I mean, with Piers there, yes, I'm talking more something like The Right Stuff.
Ah.
Oh yeah, right. It's not The Right Stuff anymore. It's Jeremy Vine.
Yeah. They replaced the original
you two
host,
are making
thank
me
God, because he
imagine a
was one I
show
hated.
hosted by Phoenix Wright now.
Well, his name is actually written with a W, so, but yeah, but tangents aside, that's all I really have to say. This movie is just so unenjoyable.
It just takes. It sucks out and takes, but doesn't give.
Exactly. It's such a middle movie. And that's it for this schlog, I guess.
So, that was Iron Man 2, folks. What a delectable time.
Third
Well,
time's the charm, eh?
The next one is more enjoyable, though we're not completely out of the swamp yet.
Yep, the next one will be 4.
Yep.
Which is technically the
4
4th movie of the MCU.
Yeah. 4 is in the God 4, not the number 4.
4-4.
See ya.
Yeah, watch 4.
See ya.
It's 4 o'clock on Channel 4. See ya.
See ya.